Hi, this is Curry Master. You've reached the last part of the tutorial for Metroid Fusion Any percent, and we are approaching the last three major segments of the game. So, to recap, we just beat Nightmare, we just got the fusion missiles, and we skipped doing the secret message because it sucks and it is slow. So, now, we're gonna pretend that we just talked to Adam right here. So, pretend we talked to Adam, because you need to do a space boost coming up. As I mentioned before, to open doors while space boosting, you need to have your beam constantly charged, and then press R when the door shows up. So start running from here. And that was good. Now, something about the puffers. I remember when I first visited Sector 6 that puffers are very annoying. And when you damage them, they damage you. Now that we have ice missiles, you can freeze them. And we don't have to get hurt by them. Well, we have diffusion missiles, but we have ice missiles, so you can freeze it and not have to worry about its puff attack. And you usually want to freeze it. So put a power bomb here, at the middle of that big rock. Generally, you want to have your diffusion missile charged so you can freeze all the puffers here. And there's a puffer down here also that you honestly can't do much about if you damage it. So shine charge here. Now, you have to trigger box. You have to hear the computer say, warning, no entry without authorization. That means you have to be close enough to the gate. If you shine charge too early, you're not going to activate that, and then you won't be able to fight box. You have to hear that voice. Then you can just shine spark back, hit the slope, and shine charge immediately. Then shine spark up here. Alright. Now, I recommend morphing before you enter the room coming up, because this is where you fight box. It's faster to actually morph when you after you enter the room, but I recommend morphing before because the timing for getting the bomb off and then getting into position to spam missiles at box is pretty tight. This fight, there isn't much to explain. This is just a fight where you have to learn the positioning to fire missiles at box. This is just a fight where you have to watch and learn for the most part. There isn't any trick to it. The only thing is to spring ball and bomb the ceiling immediately and stand at this spot. That was pretty bad. Well, that was pretty bad. Like, this is actually a pretty bad fight. Basically, you want to use purely missiles. You can use plasma beam, but it's not going to do as much damage. And voila, I believe, if I'm correct on this, box takes 12 diffusion missiles to finish. And now we have the wave beam 4x to deal with. It takes 4 missiles to kill. And the sweet spot is in the middle of the room right here. It was a little bit too low for me to sweet spot it. But anyways, now that we have the wave beam, interesting fact, the wave beam does not do any more damage than the plasma beam. It's the same power. The flare and pseudo screw attack do more damage, but at this point in the game, we don't really care much about that. So the wave beam is actually not really an upgrade in terms of power. It does go through walls, which is very helpful. In a restricted zone, you want to start speed boosting and just spam your beam to open the doors. Now remember that I said Shine Spark is slow. In this case, it's okay because you're going into a slope, meaning you don't have to go through the bonk animation right here. Just go through the middle of the room and go back. As long as you pass the center of the room, you'll activate the SAX starting to break the room apart. So you just wait. Don't shoot your wave beam like this, or else you'll make the game lag. It actually doesn't affect your in-game time, but because the in-game timer lags as well. But just don't do it unless you're bored, like I was. Now just climb up. Climbing out of that room just takes experience, just doing the game over and over again, and knowing the Metroid placement. Alright, now we're gonna go through the second biggest chunk of text in the game. Well, besides the intro. Alright, so... Interesting fact. After this segment right here, when you go back to the wild areas in Sector 1, you get to see like the Metroid cocoons, and it's a very cool reference to Metroid 2. Alright, so just more text. And we go up the elevator, and we see more text. Alright, so after this monologue here, when you go through the next door, make sure you're charging your diffusion missile before you go through the door. Because there's some turtles that you want to kill, to freeze. You can't kill them until you get screw attack, but you want to freeze them. Freeze them, and roll through here. There's another E-Tank you can grab right up here. And if you want to get this E-Tank quickly, there's the 3 missile blocks blocking it. There are 3 missile blocks blocking it. The flakes from the diffusion missile though, those clear out missile block, and you can grab the E-Tank right here. It's a pretty quick E-Tank to get. I don't recommend getting it unless you're deathly scared of the SAX, which is kind of understandable actually, because this is the very end of the game, and E-Tanks at this point aren't as useful. But yeah, you have to be quick in this room. The 2 guys I just killed don't appear normally. You just have to be quick before they appear. If this guy right here, you can freeze it and just jump through it like that. Now morph as you go through the door here, and just roll underneath everything. And then jump over. Charge your diffusion missile as you go through this door, and if you shoot it here. Power bomb. And climb up this room. There's a space pirate up here, kill it, like that. Now, the reason, again, as I mentioned, the snowflakes from the diffusion missile destroy missile blocks. All 3 blocks here are missile blocks, so it's best to get all of them with the diffusion missile. Charged diffusion missile. Yes, charged diffusion missiles are actually useful in this game. Alright, so after you kill the pirate here, aim diagonally down, go through the door, release your beam, kill these 3 guys, put a power bomb down, and here's one of the cool tricks in the game coming up. So the game intends for you to shoot these guys from behind. But, the game only, to program that in, the game only checks if you're facing the same direction as them. So what you can do is when you're facing them, shoot your beam and immediately turn around. So now it's dead. Because after I shot the beam, since I'm facing the same direction as the pirate, it will kill the pirates. Because the game thinks I'm behind it. Do the same thing for the other pirate here. Turn around after you shoot it. Jump around. Now if you're scared of Ridley, there's a safe spot right there. But Ridley should not be a problem if you have this many E-Tanks. Alright, so just space jump through here. Kill that. Now, it is a requirement for all Fusion speedrunners to bomb Ridley's eye. It is a requirement to do that, and I missed it, so I'm a failure. Alright, jokes aside, Ridley fight is very easy to play casually if you have a lot of E-Tanks. Speedrunning Ridley is a different story. Now, remember after I got Plasma Beam, that I went into a discussion about how the Plasma Beam does damage for every frame it travels inside an enemy. This applies for Wave Beam and Ice Beam as well. This is important against Ridley because his body is so big and your beam goes through him. You need to basically aim all your shots such that it stays inside of him for as long as possible. And this is important to be able to finish Ridley with as few shots as possible. So just to reiterate how powerful the Wave Beam is. You don't want to use missiles alone. Missiles are so much weaker. Diffusion Missile does 45 damage. A charged Wave Beam shot against a well-timed charged Wave Beam against Ridley does over 400. So, yeah, that's how much of a difference it is. And in this fight, there's 2 ways you can do this fight. One is fight it on the ground, which is usually faster but it's also a bit riskier. So if you're really scared of Ridley for some reason, you can feel free to use the cheese strat. But I'll show off both right now. But regardless, when you're starting the fight, you want to aim diagonally down and shoot your stuff right like this. Shoot your Wave Beam and alternate between the Wave Beam and the missile like that. Usually want to use diagonal shots, but don't be afraid to shoot upward. either. Like that. So the idea, this is another fight like Nightmare and this is a fight like Nightmare and Yakuza where all it takes is experience, knowing how it does Ridley move. I'm just trying to predict where he'll fly so you can time your next wave beam shot properly. This is a fight that just takes experience and it's very difficult to explain how to get good shots. You just have to predict where he'll fly. Now the chi strat is to charge a beam, hold L, press down so you're aim diagonally down, and just keep space jumping in this corner up here. And then use the R button to shoot wave beam shots without breaking out of your spin. I messed that up a bit, but again, you want to shoot your notice I'm shooting wave beam shots down right. You want to shoot, if you're doing a chi strat, you want to shoot your wave beam down right as Ridley's moving right so that the wave beam stays inside of him for some extra frames to deal more damage. So this chi strat is not recommended for any percent unless you're deathly scared of Ridley. Or if you're really low on health. But it's not that much slower, honestly. It's not significantly slower. The chi strat is primarily used for 1% runs because it's with practice, it's very safe and easy to do. Alright, so now that we got Screw Attack, the most OP weapon in the entire game. Now we can just screw through everything. And we are reaching the end of the game. Bomb that. Charge your wave beam as you go through the next doors. Fire an extra missile. So right there, sometimes the wave beam doesn't kill the pirate, because if it's moving left, that means the wave beam doesn't stay inside of it for as long, meaning the wave beam will actually not kill the pirate. That's why you shoot an extra missile, to ensure that you'll kill the pirate. Run through here. Shoot that switch. Screw attack down here. Now, the pirate will be on the left side or the right side. It's random. If he's on the left side, good. Just screw attack through him and just run here. If he's on the right side, do what I did. Screw attack down, wave beam missile, and you'll finish him off before he gets a chance to hurt you. Alright. Now, space jump up this room in Sector 1. And we just make our way back to the navigation room. This is pretty straightforward. Now there's a strategy coming up for climbing up a room, which saves a little bit of time. I'm not quite good at it. I have not practiced it much, honestly. But let's see, hopefully I can get it. Nope, I missed it. Okay, so the key behind the strategy is to basically never lose any height. Because you notice that every time you space jump, you lose a little bit of height. What you want to do here is land on that. Do that. Keep zigzagging around like that. And you notice that I'm shooting to break out of my flip. You must stop your flip or else you'll destroy the platform that you're trying to high jump off of. Now the last jump I did there was actually bad. When you're jumping from, I think, this spot here, you just want to just jump up here. Like that. And it saves a little bit of time. And there are 3 missile tanks in this room. Why would you need them at this point? Go take the shortcut here. Oops. And we are reaching the very end of the game, and the longest part of the dialogue. Alright. I don't have much to talk about at this point. Just going through the text, this is really boring. Oh yeah, so there's one moment where you gain control of Samus, but you have to talk to the navigation immediately again. You want to just flip jump off the switch and land on the switch immediately again. So just basically follow what I do right here. I think it's after this dialogue. here. So flip jump off like that, and you'll start talking to Adam on the earliest possible frame, as long as you land on it early. Alright. Something to note. This game, you notice that I basically did no sequence breaks. That's because Metroid Fusion has no sequence breaks in the game, pretty much. It's a very well-programmed game in the sense that you cannot get any items out of order. It's basically impossible to do so without cheating. And something I like about this game, honestly, is the fact that it's very, very execution-based. Pretty much, as you've noticed, purely execution. There are tricks and such, but it's not like sequence breaking and such. Alright. So now we are reaching the end of the game, and there is a shortcut in the game that I actually did not know about for a while, which was kind of sad. But you basically want to space boost through to the shortcut. So to let you know, the any percent run has 3 space boosts. Well, actually technically 4, but one of them is really short. Third space boost is right here. And you don't have to charge a beam because the door is open already. Go through here, screw attack through these blocks, morph, spring ball up, bomb. So any percent run has only 4 space boosts, I believe. The 100% run has a lot. Many, many more. And space boosts are very difficult, which is one big reason why I recommend starting with the any percent run rather than 100% to learn this game. Because space boosts are very difficult. And doing 100% very quickly requires doing really risky space boosts that can potentially waste minutes if you mess them up. Alright, so now we're about to fight the SAX. Charged wave beam shots are the only thing that damage the SAX. And, as I mentioned, you want to do similar thing to Ridley as you did to SAX. Similar thing to SAX as you did to Ridley. Shoot charged wave beam shots. The idea is to shoot them diagonally as a SAX so that it deals extra damage. I'm not exactly sure how the mechanics work 100%, but if you do shoot your wave beam while fighting SAX unfrozen, it's not really going to do much damage. It's not going to count every frame, so it's going to take like 20-30 wave beam shots to kill it. Instead, what you want to do is this. Freeze it. Oh, I messed that up. Okay, I've never messed this up in a long time. Alright, this is very bad. I'm going to have to put up a video of this properly. But you see you see the point though. Like you freeze it, charge your beam, shoot diagonally down, and then ice missile it immediately. Oh, that's the first time I haven't 2-hit KO'd it. I kind of butchered this fight. But anyways, the core X here takes 6 shots to kill. This is terrible. This is not a very good tutorial video at this point. But, alright, so the idea is you want to stand on this spot here. And now it's aiming diagonally, so as long as you don't move horizontally from this spot, it cannot hurt you. So like, when you finish the monster form of SCX, you want to immediately come up to this spot up here, so that the Core X cannot hurt you. It does more than 100 damage to you, so it will kill you in a 1% run. This Core X also takes 6 shots to kill. So make sure you count properly, and on the last shot, lure it up here and finish it off for a sweet spot. I talked about the monster SAX. I actually missed my strat, but basically, after you finish the first phase, when you fight the monster SAX, you want to shoot diagonally right when it starts moving. Then, right when it jumps, shoot up. Since it jumps so high, it'll jump along with the wave beam, and then you kill it basically instantly. Ideally, you want to kill it with 2 shots, and that's actually the first time I've not killed it in 2 shots in like months, honestly. So I guess that's just tutorial bad luck or something. Right, so go here. Now run to the left a little bit, and start running right. This is the last space boost in the game. Just run off the ledge. Just press A twice lightly, and you can space boost across really quickly. Alright. This is pretty straightforward. Just get to your ship quickly. There is one last trick in the game. Well, before the actual boss. But there's one last trick in the game. And this is what the main spot where a low height shine spark is very useful. As I mentioned in Sector 4, a low height shine spark is where you shine spark the pixel before you land. And it's very difficult. It's pixel perfect. So let's see if I can get this here. I missed it. But if you do a low height shine spark right here, you're going to keep going through the door. And you'll save a few extra seconds over just running through. If you don't get it, you can just run here, wait until the screen finishes scrolling, and run back, and then Omega Metroid will appear. Get swiped on purpose. The swipe here will always reduce you to 1 HP. Always. Now you get to watch a cutscene. Make sure you're holding B. Like, before you gain control of Samus, make sure you're holding beam so you charge your beam. So that when you do this, you charge your ice beam as you get the ice beam, and you can start shooting Omega Metroid immediately. Now, this is something I have to go through with this fight. You can finish Omega Metroid ridiculously quickly. The ice beam retains the same property as the wave and plasma beam, such that it deals damage for every frame it travels inside an enemy. And there is a specific spot that you can stand on while aiming diagonally up, such that the ice beam will travel through the Omega Metroid and deal a lot of damage. At the same time, this will also cause the Omega Metroid to walk backwards and not attack you, as long as you're spamming the ice beam quickly enough. The spot is quite specific. I actually pause buffer this. I don't know if I'll get it in this tutorial. Hopefully I will. But you charge your beam, get the ice beam, hold L, shoot it once, run back, charge again, stand here. I thought I got the spot there. Here. This should be the spot, or not. The spot is right here. So Samus's left leg has to be standing on that hole. Right over there. And you can just keep spamming the ice beam, and it will not be able to attack you, as long as you're spamming quickly enough. Alright, so that's basically it. That's the entire Metroid Fusion run right there. The in-game timer will end right here. That's when the in-game timer ends. Alright, so that's basically the entire game right there for how to speedrun this game any percent. You will not be able to get everything first try. This will take practice. But I believe it's a very fun and rewarding game to speedrun. It has its frustrating moments, as if you watch my stream I rage quite often, thanks to idoors and such. But this will take practice. A good starting time, you will get a bad time your first time you officially speedrun this game. That's inevitable. You will get a bad time. But the fun part is just improving more and more in the game that you love. And a good time to shoot for is sub-hour in game time. As I mentioned in the what was I gonna say? As you improve more and more, shaving off minutes gets more and more difficult for in-game timer, especially once you get past sub-hour. So, happy running with that. The world record for in-game time is currently by Biospark, 46 minutes in-game time. And honestly, I seriously doubt he's going to beat that, because there's almost no way he's going to get 45 minutes in game time. My personal best is 49 minutes in game time, tied with Spidey Whitey as current second world record. And I am hoping to improve that to a 48-minute run someday. But getting sub 50 minutes will be a very tough challenge. You basically have to be as good as me. But it's very much doable, and this game is a lot of fun. So if you ever want, there's a lot of different categories for this game. Surprisingly, given the quote-quote linear nature of this game and how it is not sequence broken, there are surprisingly quite a few different routes and categories you can do. So once you learn any percent, feel free to try it 1% if you like to challenge yourself with drop health and missile management. And if you want to be able to learn the room structure of the game more and learn more tricks, feel free to do 100%. Both categories are significantly harder than any percent. Um, if you want to know, the world record for 1% single segment, yes, single segment he never saved, is by Battlespark. 45 minutes in game, 49 minutes in game time, which is ridiculous because that's tied with my any percent record. Um, Also, and the world record for 100% is also by Battlespark. At this time, it is 1 hour 7 minutes in game time. My personal best for 100%, which is the category I primarily speedrun, is 109 in game time. And I can definitely get 107. Um, there are also other categories such as the 200 missile category, which is a very interesting category that is significantly different from 100% actually. Because there's a lot of tricks you can do in the game to get missile tanks early. It's just a lot faster to get them at the end of the game in 100%, whereas in 200 missiles you want to get them early. But I have a video up about the 200 missile route. If you ever want to learn that, feel free to watch it. And if you ever want to race anyone, go on speedrunslive.com, go on a channel, or you can come to my stream or someone's stream, Jagger G, Battlespark, anyone's stream. Well, Battlespark doesn't stream yet, but feel free to just ask around. You can go on the Metroid2002.com forums as well, and feel free to ask questions there. It's a good resource for anyone, not just Fusion, but any Metroid game really. And like the people who are good at the corresponding Metroid games will be very helpful. They will feel free to help you. If you post on like the Metroid Fusion or the Prime 2 forums, I'll be happy to help you out with that. So yeah. This game is very rewarding and fun, and I love it to death. So, by the way, 1 hour, that is a horrible time. That is a terrible any percent time, but it was a tutorial run. And I actually had fun trying to explain everything and learning, kind of like relearning myself at the same time. Like all my strategies and such. I hope you learned a lot from watching all of the parts, and I hope that I'll be able to race you and you can get better at the game as well. There's always more to improve on. Like I myself have a lot to improve on. Like as you can tell, Biospark is an absolute beast at this game, and he beats all my records consistently by at least 2-3 minutes. So, yeah. Thank you very much for watching this, and more so, Thank you for picking up this game because this game needs more love, and it's very fun and awesome. So, thanks for watching, and I don't have any plans to make a tutorial for 100% because there's too much to talk about. But I really hope that this gave like a really good tutorial of like how to optimize moving Samus overall, also, along with room-specific strategies and boss strategies and managing and like specific techniques as well. So I hope this was very informative. At this point, I'm just dragging this video out, so I guess I'll end it here. Thank you.